Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today. My name is Tishaura Jones. I'm the mayor of the city of St. Louis and host for this year's Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative annual meeting. I'm very honored to be headlining the opening press conference for our gathering this year. Since MRCTI began in 2012, it's been our practice to return every 5 years to MRCTI's home city on the river right in the middle of our corridor. I'm excited to uphold this tradition this year and celebrate the association's 10-year anniversary. Today, we'll feature a tremendous victory for our region made possible by mayors partnering across party lines, levels of government, and economies to sustain the essential benefits of the corridor provides our cities. I'm very honored to welcome to St. Louis our distinguished mayors and guests, including Jim Strickland, mayor of Memphis, my dad's hometown, and co-chair of the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, Eric Simmons, mayor of Greenville, Mississippi, my grandmother's hometown, and co-chair of the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, Phil Stang, mayor of Kimmswick, Missouri, and the Missouri chair for MRCTI, Kevin Smith, mayor of Helena, Arkansas, and the Arkansas chair for MRCTI, my neighbor from across the river, my good friend Robert Eastern, mayor of East St. Louis, Illinois, and our very special guest, champion and national treasure, Andrew Young, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. I'm proud to be part of MRCTI and a tireless advocate for the most vulnerable of our corridor. Together, mayors are lifting our region and making bold, innovative proposals that ensure historically disadvantaged populations are protected and benefit from the historic infrastructure opportunities offered over the next 5 years of the Infrastructure Jobs Act. I now want to recognize Mayor Jim Strickland, mayor of Memphis, Tennessee, to begin the announcements for today. Mayor Strickland.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. It is great to be here in St. Louis, one of my favorite cities in the country. No, I love St. Louis. I love eating on the hill and going to see ball games. It's a great, great city. And Memphis and St. Louis have so much in common, in addition to being Mayor Jones's father's city. We have so much more in common, one of which is St. Louis Cardinals. The AAA team is in Memphis, and Memphis has been a Cardinal city for decades. So, Mayor, I appreciate you and your team hosting us today. We know this will be a fantastic conference, and it's our first one in person since 2019. It's so nice to see everyone in person. Since our beginning, the mayors of MRCTI have always pursued a new model of managing the Mississippi River corridor as one unified system, assisted by a dedicated national program where all agencies that work on the river can coordinate, facilitate, and manage the waterway holistically. I'm very happy to report that this year we are poised to make a leap forward in the endeavor. In July 2021, Congressman Benny Thompson of Mississippi, Steve Cohen of Tennessee, and Troy Carter of Louisiana introduced the Andrew Young Safeguarding the Mississippi River Together, or SMART Act. They introduced it in the U.S. House. Modeled after similar projects to better manage the Chesapeake Bay, the Great Lakes, and the Gulf of Mexico, the SMART Act establishes a national Mississippi River program that calls for a comprehensive plan, as well as delivers environmental and economic improvements to the entire 10-state corridor and beyond to the larger 31-state basin. A critical priority of the SMART Act has been included in the recently passed Senate version of the Water Resources Development Act. And for more on this exciting development, I'll hand the podium over to Mayors Kevin Smith of Helena, West Helena, Arkansas, and James Sanders of Blytheville, Arkansas. Mayors.
Well, thank you, Mayor Jones, and thank you, Mayor Strickland, and all my fellow colleagues. And it's such an honor to share any podium with the ambassador today. I'm Mayor Kevin Smith. I'm from Helena, West Helena, Arkansas. One of my earliest memories is see the bright lights in that green ball field at Busch Stadium. My grandfather from Southeast Missouri took me to my first Cardinal game. And it's always good to be in St. Louis. And I think it's something that we in this part of the Mississippi River and this part of the world all share, that first Cardinal game. We all have more in common with each other than we have separate from each other. And this is a great example of how we can work together in Washington and get things done and elsewhere. I'm pleased to share that my senator, John Bozeman of Arkansas, has shown vision, leadership, and gained results in his work with mayors and other partners to improve the resilience and reliability of our corridor through a new project in the Water Resources Development Act, titled the Lower Mississippi River Demonstration Program, Section 406. This project will provide for systemic living resource restoration efforts. The project also calls for a comprehensive plan and gives us, for the first time, an environmental improvement program for the entire Mississippi River, which drains 2/3 of this country. In Helena, we're right on the Mississippi River and vulnerable to storm events and significant bank erosion next to our city. Restorative measures like those supported by this project, supported by Senator Bozeman and others, will help us become a more resilient city. Just this morning, somebody asked me if we discovered oil in our river park, because there's this tall thing that was drilling down right next to the Mississippi River. And of course, this is one of the poorest regions in the country, and I was really hoping that they had found oil. But unfortunately, it was the Corps of Engineers doing core samples because they were worried about the restoration or the riverbank and the damage that it takes from tows and just natural erosion. And so they take these core samples to try and see how resilient these banks are. So the Mississippi River is a very dynamic thing. And if we aren't treating it like one whole system and the federal government's not engaged, this is a federal thing. It's too much for locals, cities, and mayors. So this is an extremely important project. So having said that, I want to hand it over to my colleague, Mayor Sanders, and let you take it from there.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Jones. Thank you, Kevin. Mayor Smith. It's already been stated how important the Mississippi River is to us in our communities. It's very important that we take care of it as it takes care of us. The Upper Mississippi River has enjoyed an ecosystem restoration program for several decades, but the lower river valley has not enjoyed such of a benefit. This effort by our Senator Bozeman will move us closer to realizing these mayors' visions of a unified national Mississippi River management approach. And it would also demonstrate through this program submitted by Senator Bozeman, how in my city that the water is shunned through regular small canals. In our area where we are, the land is not like this beautiful land that we see here with hills and valleys. It's very flat. And at the same time, in our same area, through our industrial development At one time, we dealt only with crops and agriculture in the Mississippi River area in our own Mississippi County of Arkansas. But now we have graduated to be one of the largest steel producers in the country. And with that, the Mississippi River is very important to the transportation of the steel from other areas to come down to Mississippi County so that our steel resources can be used in manufacturing, which is something great for us within our communities. So again, I'm very thankful for the efforts that Senator John Boozman has done for this effort. And again, unfortunately now, I would like to say that at this point, I think that we have a video to play for Senator John Boozman, since his schedule did not allow him to be with us today, so and be with us live. So if we can play the video, please.
Well, a big thank you to the Mississippi River cities and towns leaders, as well as Ambassador Andrew Young, for inviting me to join you during your annual meeting. I wish I could be there in person, but I'm pleased to share this update with you from Washington. We have only a few months left in the 117th Congress, and there is still a lot to do, including a priority of mine, passing a water infrastructure bill. The Water Resources and Development Act is critical to the success of communities and industries across the country and our ability to provide a reliable, safe, and affordable source of water. WRDA will strengthen the waterway infrastructure our agriculture community and businesses need to move their goods to market, as well as create more economic opportunities while strengthening our drinking water and sewer water supply. In the past several years, the Environmental and Public Works Committee has been able to work in a bipartisan manner to pass WRDA bills through regular order every 2 years. My colleagues in this Congress and I have been working to deliver another effective bipartisan product. It speaks volumes to have widespread support in both chambers for making these necessary updates, and I look forward to supporting the initiatives I championed in a final compromise bill. Having your support, including for my provision creating a lower Mississippi River Basin demonstration program similar to the initiatives launched to support the Great Lakes and the Chesapeake Bay, is a significant event, and I appreciate our partnership. As you know, this pilot would allow communities and private entities to apply for federal assistance to help with conservation efforts, because small and medium-sized conservation projects often take longer to be funded. This idea will help get those efforts up and running faster. I'm excited about this new and important project and the potential to improve conservation efforts along the Mississippi River. Your voices have been critical in shaping this measure and broader water resource policy in general. In particular, I'd like to express my appreciation to West Helena, Arkansas Mayor Kevin Smith, whose leadership has been so helpful as we work to build greater support for this initiative. I'm blessed to be a member of EPW as well as serve as Republican leader on the Senate Agricultural Committee. I understand better than most the importance of passing a bipartisan bill to support the water needs of communities, farmers, ranchers, and landowners. I look forward to continuing working with you to get the WRDA bill across the finish line. Thanks for all you do, and keep up the great work.
Again, our Senator John Boozman. Now, what we'll do is I'll turn this over to Mayor Simmons for further. Mayor Simmons.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And good evening to everyone, afternoon to everyone. My name is Mayor Simmons. I'm co-chair, and it's a wonderful pleasure to serve as co-chair of this great organization, Mississippi River Cities and Town Initiative, with Mayor Jim Strickland, and just really to serve on this podium with a number of mayors from a number of cities on the Mississippi River. You know, the Mississippi River has that great commonality where we could leave Greenville, Mississippi. Nikki and I left this morning, where we're celebrating the 45th annual Mississippi Delta Blues and Heritage Festival, which is the oldest blues festival in the world, to take the plane to come to the land of baseball, so the river can bring blues and baseball college together. And so thank you all so much for being here. And it's just wonderful, Mayor Jones, to be here in your wonderful city. And you're doing great things with your leadership here for the folks of St. Louis. I would add that, like Senator Bozeman, Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi, as well as Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, also supported Mr. Bozeman's proposal. Senate, congressional, and national champions from multiple states are critical to making a unified vision for our region a true reality. Simply put, the Mississippi River Corridor is America's original main street, and it should be treated as such. To that end, I'm excited to further announce support from our congressional leadership on both the House and the Senate side for the work to make the Mississippi River Corridor a national priority. My Congressman Benny G. Thompson, your friend, ambassador, wanted me to most definitely express his support for the SMART Act. He introduced it on the House side. He's my good friend, and wanted me to read this statement. I am proud to have introduced the SMART Act on behalf of my friend, Ambassador Andrew Young, to assist with efforts and grow the economy throughout the Mississippi River. By introducing this bill, it will provide funding opportunities to maintain the Mississippi River, which is vital to the state of Mississippi. The SMART Act will provide up to $500 million per year for 5 years to fund grants and studies for maintaining the river. I want to thank Congressman Thompson for his support, not only for Mississippi, but also in a critical point where we are as he's protecting democracy. Growing up next to the Mississippi River in Louisiana, Ambassador Young has had a personal stake in the work of MRCTI since he joined us in this work in 2016. In fact, his first appearance with MRCTI, Mayor Jones, is right here in St. Louis in 2017 at the annual meeting. Further, Ambassador understands the global implications of the work and the fact that we must advocate for communities that cannot advocate for themselves. To bring all of this together, to reflect on the work ahead, it is my honor, esteemed honor, and privilege to recognize our true champion for our region, Ambassador Andrew Young. If you please can stand and give him a round of applause.
This is embarrassingly wonderful because I happen to have been mayor of a city that's 500 miles away from the river. But I was born just a few miles away from the Mississippi River in New Orleans, and I spent all my childhood walking those levees. And my birth home was washed away by Katrina. I've also spent time in church going to the funerals of people who have been victims of water disasters along the Mississippi. And I had a pretty good run as mayor of Atlanta. And one of the things we learned to do was put people with talent and people with money together. And we kind of learned that there really is a lot of money around this world that doesn't know what to do with itself. There's also as much, if not more, need that people have not understood how to manage and how to ameliorate. I am really impressed with this group of mayors. There are over 100 of them now. And Colin Willingcamp has really been nursing this for a long time. And we have been growing. I say we because I volunteered. And but 40% of our nation's trade goes down this river. And if anything happened anywhere along the river, you remember when the Suez Canal was blocked for 12 days? All hell broke loose all over the world. We cannot afford to let anything happen in the Mississippi Valley. And that represents, as we've said, 31 states that feed into the Mississippi or get problems or water or opportunity from the Mississippi. And I also served in the Congress for 4 years. And we just really don't do things together. People are concerned about their own constituency. But we have here a group of over 100 mayors that essentially are concerned about a major national problem. It's a major national problem not only on the Mississippi River, but even in the atmosphere. I heard the governor of California say that the water used to come up from the South Pacific and then dump in Northern California, and that's why the redwoods grow. It doesn't do that anymore. But there is a alluvial river, a river in the sky that's supposed to be twice as big as the Mississippi. I never heard of that until I called up the NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Group in Colorado, and they study this regularly, and they get reports of it. And so we are just at the beginning, but this is the way America's supposed to work. Congressmen, senators, mayors, business, everybody working together to resolve whatever challenges come forward. Everybody dreaming together about what we want to do to make our region better. And I can't think of a more promising and hopeful place on the planet than the Mississippi Valley. You've got some of the best universities, you've got some of the best land, you've got some of the best people. Everything good in the United States comes out of the Midwest. And that takes a lot for me coming from Atlanta to say. But we borrow. And this group of mayors and our Congress needs to have the full support of the nation, both parties, and in the midst of all of the chaos and confusion, which, as a politician, is what politics is supposed to be. But it's also supposed to do wonderful things like the New Deal. And the Mississippi River and Towns Act, the SMART Act, that's what they call it. I think this is not only smart, it's good, it's wonderful, and so are all of you. And thank you for letting me horn in. I'm still looking around. I'm looking around for people with new ideas about how to deal with water. And I'm looking around with people who are interested in the water problems of the world, of the planet, and have the money that they are ready to invest in it. It's there. We put on the Olympics with no government money in Atlanta. And we came up with $2.5 billion that we didn't know existed when we started dreaming about the Olympics. We have the world's busiest airport that generated $66 billion last year. No government funds in it at all, because we figured out a way to get to Wall Street and bring Wall Street money into Atlanta to build the airport. our stadium. Our football team isn't all that good these days. They lost by 1 point. But the stadium was full, and it's paying for itself with no city money in it. So if we can get the technology, the vision, the politics together as we have with this group of mayors, we can solve any problem on the face of the earth. And that leaves me with my real politician, my real career. And basically, I'm a preacher. And I said, Lord, help us, because we are standing in the need of prayer. And we need to survive by God's amazing grace. And it's amazing grace when you can get 100 mayors together to agree all the time. Thank you very much. God has blessed us.